This is a new time, a new era, and a new era is we're standing on the threshold. It will be clear the task ahead cannot be done by a couple of loyal staff eagerly supported by the regular crew of helpers and volunteers. This task is too big. You are needed. You are needed not simply for financial support, although it is muchly appreciated, but more importantly, your presence, your participation, your spirit, enthusiasm and goodwill. We need you to carry the message, to start a conversation that the Williamstown Footy Club is strong and prosperous and fashioning a new day.
3 weeks later, the Argus again reported on a match between Williamstown and St Kilda and noted, I quote from the Argus, "Nowhere was the wind more severely felt on Saturday than at Williamstown, where it came with a clear run off the sea. Some things never change." In the year Williamstown won his first premiership, 1907, the Argus reported on the first semi-final played between Williamstown and Port Melbourne, which was won by Williamstown. The report said, "The match between Williamstown and Port Melbourne was of a particularly friendly, almost affectionate character. So affectionate that I feel quite sure that even had Port Melbourne been able to beat Williamstown on Saturday, they would have held their hand or turned their foot and kicked crookedly. Some things do change."
Very important aspect of our business, the footy club, is what we're doing in the community, and it's really critical going forward now more than ever, is that we've got to be connecting, we've got to be winning over new fans. I just look at even using a little example like the Willie Juniors Football Club. Probably about 15 years ago they probably had 4 junior sides, now they've got 15 junior sides. So a number of new kids, new families moving into the area. We've got to make sure that there's a connection with the Williamstown Football Club. So we want to make sure that all the new people coming into the ground, into the community, that they want to follow the Williamstown Football Club. And that's one of our biggest challenges, and that's why we appointed a part-time community officer. Even now he's out to schools. I think he's down at Newport Gardens today. A lot of the schools, I suppose there's a few ex-school teachers here, a lot of them don't know much about football, so we're playing a role there now in the community with our players as well.
And I was very surprised when I said to Cars, I've got this idea, how about we sponsor the South China Australian Footy League, and I thought he was going to say, you know, what have you been smoking or what have you been drinking on that trip up from Melbourne, but you know, to my surprise he said no. He said, mate, put it on a paper, give it to the board and see what we can do. And the key reasons we're doing this, apart from the integration piece, is that there's 150 Chinese companies now based in Melbourne. There's an opportunity for us to embrace the wider community, to sponsor the league up there as a symbol of how we're keen to try and grow and try and embrace the broader Australian Asian community. The idea being that we can get some of that Chinese money to sponsor this football club. So it's actually, it's broad, it's not just about, it's about the community, it's about sponsorship, it's about growing our club in ways that probably people didn't think about. And we're having an Asian Community Football Day on August the 11th here at Williamstown. We've had some very good feedback from the Chinese business community. There's going to be a number of those representatives coming here. And I really do hope that that small investment of $10,000 into the South China League can result in us having a win-win situation where we can actually generate some sponsorship back. We can also generate some goodwill of the community, and we can also lift the profile of this footy club to be the progressive footy club that it is.
As you well know, the club has undergone significant investment with the redevelopment of Burbank Oval. Some of these upgrades include the introduction of hot and cold plunge pools, a brand new learning centre, ground lighting upgrade, the purchase of weights equipment for our makeshift gym, and the introduction of both behind the goals and ISOvision, which is the single biggest teaching tool for our coaches. Other investments include the purchase of 3 game-ready machines to assist with recovery and injury management, and just recently the club has ordered 10 state-of-the-art GPS units, which we used all year round at training sessions and on match day. One of the biggest talking points over the upcoming summer will be what Williamstown's 2014 list looks like. We are presented with both an opportunity and a challenge to develop a list without any AFL influence. We have already undergone significant planning for our 2014 list, and it's great to announce today that a large number of our current list have already signed on for next year. For years, our club has had players picked off from other clubs due to alignment situation. As a standalone side, it's going to be great to turn the tables and be able to offer a prospective recruit the guarantee that there'll be 23 senior spots available each week for selection.
That's been, as Dicko just said then, that's been the real hard part about the alignment, that any given moment that the team can change, and on a regular basis our side probably changes almost up to 30 to 40% each week, so there's 6, 7, 8 changes. Some weeks there's been 10 and 11.
And I know why Brendan asked me today. Because I spat the dummy when the AFL thing happened, and I really spat the dummy when the Collingwood AFL thing happened. And I walked away, and it was like a death in the family. I mean, I always kept tabs on what the team was doing, but I said to him, Brendan, I'll come back when we're Williamstown again. Not Williamstown with a little bit of Collingwood, not Williamstown with a little bit of Footscray, but Williamstown. And I think my dream is really now going to happen. It's fantastic, and I feel so confident to have Brendan and Trevor look after this team, and where you can bring your kids and have a kick in between quarters. You can bring your dog, and you can bring your dog in some places, can't you, Trevor? Yes, there are some grounds where they don't like it. But to everyone in Williamstown, good luck for next year, because once again, we're just Williamstown without a little bit of anyone else, just us. Good luck.
When we won the flag in 2003, I remember being here singing the Grand Old Flag. It wasn't unanimously applauded by the officials because it wasn't really the club song of the time. The club was alive, it was prospering, but I don't think we were connected with the community. We weren't tribal, and I think that's what makes the place tick. It's nothing like walking to the ground and knowing that you love the club and that feeling of ownership. And I think this year with the club back here at home, playing on Sundays, and with a view to stand alone next year, I think I rejoined the Seagulls, and I brought a few friends along and they joined the club as well. And I can feel the heartbeat of the place again, a heartbeat that's going to resonate with the community one more time, and this club will be great again as a local club. And we might even hear Grand Old Flag on the PA again, maybe.
Amazing. I said to Barry Round early, I've never had an experience like watching his side, and I don't know what year it was, and Swanee there, he kicked the winning goal, and there were so many contributors in that last quarter. And I was sitting with an old teammate who was a decent sort of a punter, and he said at the start of the game, he said, I've had 2,000 on them today, do you want half? I said, oh, turn it up. I said, my wife will want to know where the money's gone, but I'll take 200. And just in the last dying minutes of the game, I turned around to the fellow I had the bet with, and I handed it to him, and Jack said no. And he said, these fellas will come on, and they did, and that was the greatest thrill that I've ever experienced down there. And people said to me, but you played in 5 of them. But when you play in them, you don't know what's going on. Like, I mean, there's so much effort and everything going in. But always remember me, and I want you to remember me this way, as Jerry Callahan, not Joe Fingers Carl.
I suppose I heard Jerry talk about the feeling he gets when he walks into this ground, and it's amazing. I've been here for a long time, but my first year, where I was introduced to Williamstown was 1990, and it was the year, I remember my brother Simon was playing Carlton under-19s and got cut, and he decided, he wasn't good enough or didn't get the opportunity to play AFL or VFL, so he met with Coburg and he met with Williamstown. I remember the day he said, met with Barry Round, and I'm going to go and join Williamstown, my older brother Simon. So I was 12 years of age at the time, and anyway, Willie became not only Simon's home, but our family's home. And so Brad would have been 15, I was 12, and I went from loving AFL football to then just loving VFA football. So I look around the faces that sit here now, and everyone's spoken about that game in 1990, and so it was my first year at Williamstown, and just the fun we would have. Just you speak about the kick, I just loved kicking the footy, trying to take speckers behind the goals when it would come through, trying to get me head on television. Maybe afterwards, you just couldn't do that at AFL level, so I thought, how do we do VFA football? So I remember when Brad was part of the 2003 Premiership, the frustration even that he would have of, is it about winning games of football, or is it about just developing AFL players, and it was a real source of frustration for Brad at that time that it wasn't necessarily about winning, and that's what football is. It should be about winning, and everyone who turns up who loves Williamstown in the room should be able to turn up and know that you're doing everything you possibly can to win a game of football. But since alignments, it's not about that for AFL clubs. It's just about doing what's best for them and their football clubs. I think it's fantastic, as everyone said, that we get back to Williamstown, and it's about just hopefully adding another one to that 2003 and the rest of the premiership. So all the best for the rest of the year, Germo and Ben, with this year. Hopefully you can win a flag before the alignment starts, and all the best for the future. Thank you very much.
We want to have a direct link to the current players. We want to assist the current players with employment and accommodation. The club these days doesn't recruit from Williamstown alone. We've got, we'd have 7 or 8 Gippsland Power kids, Bairnsdale, Hayfield, Young. They come from wide and far, and those kids need assistance. Majority, there's not too many idiots playing VFL footy these days. They're all good kids, and we just need, some of us, the past player group, just need to give them a bit of a chop out with a job or somewhere to live, help them out with some accommodation. Well, there's a lot of footy nous in this room, and we want to try and set up some mentoring groups with the current day players and make ourselves accessible to those guys. A lot of them they're good kids, just like we were. They're trying to do the same things that we used to do. You know, maybe it's our time to be able to give back to those kids.